All right. Well, now, let's see what happens this evening. So, yes, guys, good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening. Welcome into Hoppers Motorsport Vlogs. Hope everyone can hear me and see me okay. But welcome in to a very special video this evening. You may think, what's going on tonight? You may see from the title and, of course, the description that we have a special guest returning to the live videos. Obviously, you may obviously introduce our special guest very soon, but you may notice we had him back back in October 2023 with talking about Top Tuesday, BTCC, and how we got involved in motorsport. We have, of course, the legend that is Alan Hyde join us in 5 to 10 minutes. Looking forward to this evening. I think it's going to be a great one. I think personally, as I say, you know, to kickstart the BTCC 2025 season, because obviously we had media day yesterday, so it's only right that that's good. I'm glad you can see me. I was a bit concerned that not many people were able to be able to see me. I hope the lighting's okay as well. Um, I get a bit concerned about. But yes, we've got, of course, Alan Hyde joining us very soon for a great chat. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to discuss the BTCC 2025 season, give it a bit of a preview, talk about some drivers that are taking part in the championship this year and what to look forward to this year. As I say, Alan appeared back in 2023, back in October at the end of the season, but we've managed to get him before the start of the season. Obviously, he's going to be manic because he's got, I believe, Top Tuesday to contend with next week to dissect Media Day, and he's also got then round one of the championship to prepare for with Total Live, with a few commentators that obviously are part of the Total Live team this year, and it's going to be absolutely epic to have him back on the page. If you don't mind, if you can, if you've got another mobile to handle, if you haven't, don't worry, but if you can, share it around to various groups, because this is going to be pretty epic. I haven't got the entry list to hand for the BTCC grid, but I'm going to try my absolute best to try and remember who drives what car, and obviously, try and remember some of the changes that happened over the winter. But while we wait for Alan to appear, I just want to introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, if you are new around here, I'm of course Hoppers. I am the voice and the face of Hoppers Motorsport Vlogs. I've been BTCC fan since 1999. Yes, I've gone from being a little lad to a grown man through the Britain's premier motorsport category. It is, something I've really loved and adored since day one, even though back in 99, the noise level of a BTCC car didn't agree with my ears at the time, but I've really, really got into it, and obviously, I'm probably supporting the Napa Racing UK lads. Obviously, predominantly Mr. Dan Rowbottom, which will hopefully tie up a deal to get him on the vlog page this year, or maybe in the off season. But yeah, so we'll just wait for obviously to join us. But evening Tracy, evening Lee, and everyone else that's joined in so far. Any questions you have, stick them in the comments by all means. We'll try and get them answered if we can, or we'll try and answer them to the best of our knowledges. Obviously, keep your comments clean and sensible, because like I say, we have got a guest on this evening. It is things, but as I say, we're just going to wait for Alan to come on, and it should be a great crack. If you're new around here, please, if you can, like and follow my page, because we do a lot of interviews, we do a lot of things within all things BTCC. But as I say, it is going to be an epic evening of a chat. But if we, if we occur any difficulties, then obviously bear with. But as I say, I'm looking forward to it. But it is how great it will be. But yeah, it's great to be back after Monday. Monday was a bit of a hyped live video. But if if we get through this, we'll get through it. It's been a while. I'm just gonna um. So yeah, hopefully we should be good to go very shortly. But in a second, gonna. But yeah, it should be great. I'm looking forward to tonight. As I say, I'm just obviously just got in from work, so if it sounds a bit, I'll just run up the stairs and don't. But I can easily just go through a bit of things while we wait for our guest to appear. But as I say, there is a lot to take in for this evening, because we're talking all things BTCC for 2025. Just giving it a bit of a preview, probably. Okay. Actually, yeah, brilliant. What we'll do, he's ready to go. So what we'll do, we'll invite him, and we'll see how well it goes. Obviously, good evening, Donald. And yes, time to show him at the moment. But here we go. Alan, how are you, mate?
I'm really well, thank you, Hoppers. So exactly the same. So I can prove this. Look, exactly the same as happened last time. Look,
Yeah.
I'm on your page on the computer,
Okay.
and it says it hasn't started. So then I go to the phone, and of course it has started. I don't know why that is. We did exactly the same thing last time, and same thing again.
It's a bit weird because I don't know why it does it on the computer. Why it doesn't do it on the computer, should I say?
It's weird, isn't it? Let me put this in the right place. It's on a little stand. So if I do that, there we go.
Cool.
That's fine. There we go. But I can only see the bottom of you.
Oh, can you?
Do I do that instead?
No.
Okay.
I think it's my end because I've got my phone propped up.
Ah, so you're doing it on the phone as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm here in the end.
You are here, but it's all good because you've come back. You were last on October 2023.
Was it that long ago?
Do
you know? I thought it was probably going to be last year we did something, but yeah, time flies, doesn't it? Goodness me.
It does.
And what a nice time to be talking about touring cars, because after the official test yesterday, we got the chance to see the lineup. We got the chance to see the cars. I don't often get particularly excited about testing, but I thought it was absolutely fascinating yesterday. Yeah. And the last 10 minutes was electric. It was blooming brilliant.
It's mad to think because you and Chris Hartley were saying, "Oh, just watch it for the last couple of half an hour, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, whatever."
Yeah, we were wrong about half an hour. Yeah,
you were. You were. I was listening on the way to work.
It couldn't have been more disconcerting when we said that, and then everybody came into the pit lane with 30 minutes ago. That, oh no, are they just going to stay there for the last 10 minutes? Electric, blooming brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I don't know how we can explain to the viewers exactly how excited everyone will be for this season.
It's a great season, and so one of the reasons I'm so excited about it is if you look down the entry, okay,
Yeah.
they are all exceptionally good drivers. There really isn't any exception. They are all capable of, at very least, at the stage that they are
Mm.
at, of being on the podium.
Yeah.
And to start a year with 24 drivers that could all possibly be on the podium. What more what more could you ask for? It's just absolutely brilliant. And then if you add to that the amount of rookies that are turning up, the amount of seriously quick and with very good credentials rookies are lining up on the grid. The Jack Sears Trophy is going to be one to savour. What a year to be a BTCC fan, eh?
Oh, for definitely. This is now my 26th year.
Wow.
Believe it or not. It's like I've said this all along. Like I tried to say to many people, it's an addiction that I've picked up at a very young age, and it's like, yeah, what stopped me from not liking it? Nothing. It's a
So what was your first year, Andy? What was your first year of being a touring car
99,
watcher?
99.
99.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So just towards the end of the Super Tourers.
yeah, which kind of to me, I kind of wish I knew it earlier, but then it sort of, if I knew it earlier, then yeah, it would have been even more longer. But
Was 99 a year that we had a night race? We did, didn't
yeah,
we?
yes, we did.
99. Yeah, yeah,
First night race. It was also the first year that Matt Neal won a race outright.
yeah. Which
And
is still my standout BTCC moment of all time. Yeah,
I'm sure it's many people's as well. I didn't know that at the time until the end of season review, funny
yeah.
enough.
Big thing. Yeah,
And I'm glad this sport's still around because, after the COVID pandemic, that was a bit weird and
yeah. It
things
was difficult. Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
what was going on. But, there's been some great drivers in the championship. There's obviously up and coming champions, and seeing what's happening right now this year. Jesus.
It's absolutely fantastic. And one of the reasons that the BTCC continues and continues to be such a supreme sport in the UK is that it never stands still. So changes to regulations, changes to the cars, all of that kind of thing. Doesn't have to be a massive change from year to year, but it changes to reflect and move with the times of the automotive industry. And it has done it seamlessly and brilliantly over the years. So you don't really see that there are these little technological changes that are taking place sort of, behind the scenes, if you like.
Yeah,
Um, and it just keeps it up to date, keeps it relevant, and more than anything, it keeps it close racing, which is what we want. I don't know what fraction of a second it was that was covering the top 10 in testing at the end of yesterday,
no,
but it was a ridiculous fraction.
yeah,
But not only that, I don't think we, I don't think we necessarily saw the true form of the BMWs
no,
yesterday.
no,
And when you look at so where did Jake finish up? He was 19th.
yeah,
Um, Aidan Moffat 21st, Charles Rainford 22nd, Daryl DeLeon 16th. So without a shadow of a doubt, we didn't see the true form of
no,
BMW yesterday.
no, and that's the thing. I think, given now that obviously Colin isn't around this season, taking a sabbatical. Is that gonna hamper them this year? Do you reckon?
So Colin was there yesterday,
Well, of
um,
course, yeah,
and and the wealth of experience that he's got is going to be vital to the team, because for so many years they've had him as a constant. He's always been there. Um, Dick Bennett has got a great relationship with Colin. They're
yeah, yeah,
that they have a huge amount of mutual respect for each other, and they've been together for so long. It's sort of like sort of one of the family really, and Colin's family has been around the team, and um, for so many years. So it's a massive thing that Colin isn't at WSR. Okay, he's had years away from the
yeah.
championship or years away from the team, but he's always sort of come back there, a bit like returning to base, a bit like when you leave home. Set up home with someone in a relationship, the relationship doesn't go well, you go back to that sort of comfortable feeling back at home, you return to base.
Yeah.
And that's where Collins always returned to.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a a big difference for the team getting used to Colin not being a driver. I had a bit of a problem yesterday looking at the timing screen and not seeing Colin's
Yeah.
name constantly popping up. That was a weird thing, because you get into a habit. You're looking down the times and you think, oh, hang on, where's such and such? Where's such a? Had the same thing when Jason Plato didn't race
Yeah.
the first year. He wasn't racing. You slowly get used to the fact that the name isn't there, which is massively disappointing. As not only for me and fans of Colin, but also for Colin and his family. I'm sure they would absolutely have wanted to be on the grid this year, and I don't think he's written it off.
No.
He's got unfinished business, Andy. He wants to win this title more than anyone
Yeah.
else. He's only one title away from that.
Yeah.
So maybe a year to regroup and then to get everything together to make everything right for next year. Maybe that is a possibility. But in the meantime, they're clearly drawing on his knowledge and his personality. He's a lovely bloke. Colin is a lovely, lovely guy. And his family are lovely as well. So, just to have him around will be a good support for the team, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit weird seeing Jake being number one driver in that team. With obviously he won the title last year. No disrespect, he deserved it. To be fair,
It's going to be weird for him as well, isn't it? I
yeah,
mean,
it's going to be
taking on that role as well.
yeah, and it's going to be weird being in the reigning champion to try and keep hold of that number one.
Never easy to do to mount a title defence. We haven't had many years of back-to-back champions in the last few years, have we?
No, we
It's
haven't, no.
it's a really difficult thing. Remember Tingram saying on Tin Top Tuesday
Yes,
some time ago that he was relishing the idea of defending his title, but also quite nervous of doing it as well, because it's almost like with the number one on the car, you're the one that everybody wants to be judging themselves by. So you're the one that everyone wants to beat.
yeah,
So
it's
so
like being
it's not
boxing
an easy thing.
yeah. That's the thing. It's like obviously the last time we had back to back was Ash Sutton, and it's like he's trying to work long and hard to try and get that fifth title.
I am absolutely certain that Ash Sutton is going to come out of the blocks running this year. He is. I don't know if you heard. Chris interviewed him down in the pit lane yesterday,
Yeah,
and he said when his first son Sonny was born,
that's what,
he won a title that year for him. So now he needs to do the same for little Hadley that was born only
yeah,
3 years ago. And and that's a lovely thing. He's a great dad, and that too is a lovely family unit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he didn't just make that up on the spur of the moment. I'm sure he really, really desperately wants to do that.
I think he does, because obviously I'm spotting, of course, the Napa guys, 'cause obviously with Dan Rowbottom. But the thing is, he, Ash's caliber of racing, he knows when to push. Look at Thruxton last year when I think, was it the splitter that broke, and then he was worried that they wouldn't get it ready for race 3, but then he went to go and win it.
Ash is an incredibly special driver. We are blessed in the BTCC that we have a number of really special drivers, but Ash is sometimes quite astonishing. A couple of years ago, when Napa Racing came out of the blocks at the start of the
Yeah,
year and had done a huge amount of preparation, pre-season testing, and they were just it's not it's not unfair to say they were annihilating people at the start of the year. They
yeah,
were taking race wins, fastest laps, um, pole positions, um, and Ash was able to do it meeting after meeting after meeting,
yeah,
despite the amount of hampering of deployment of hybrid that he was getting. He was
yeah.
still able to do it, and I didn't honestly, I didn't know how he was able to work around, that kind of hampering
Yeah.
to still be delivering. He is something else.
He-
He really is something else.
he's unreal. That's what he is.
He is, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. He is.
the fact that, like you say, with when they dominated 2023, bar one pole position, and you think they have a good outfit, the car was good,
Mm.
you know, and you know, obviously they know what they're doing at Napa, you know.
They absolutely definitely do. When you have a look around the garage, and you realise what an outfit it is, what a top line professional team they are, and some of the names that are in there. Um, Malcolm Swetnam for a start, Ollie Collins, at the helm of the team. They're a beautifully organised team, and they've got dedicated, um, vastly experienced team members working on each of the four cars as well. I was really buoyed actually by seeing Sam Osborne's uh, um, performance towards the end of the set. I think it was in the last half hour.
Yeah,
All of it. Just have a look where he finished. He finished up in sixth place, didn't he? Um,
yeah, yeah,
and that kind of came from nowhere. He's working with Rory Butcher. I talk about these people at Napa Racing that have got a huge amount of experience. Rory knows a thing or two about the BTCC, and clearly he and Sam gelled together last year,
yeah.
and
And look,
and that relationship. Go on, Andy. Sorry.
yeah, it's exactly what happened then with the likes, Rory and Sam working together. Sam's did really well second half of the season, and I think that's what he needed, you know.
Absolutely, you did. And Rory's the right guy to do it as well. Knows what he's talking about. Very calm influences, Rory. Again, really nice bloke, really easy to get along with. And Sam has clearly flourished under his under his guidance. And you know what? I would really like to see Sam have a great year, because um, Ash said a couple of years ago that part of their job for all three of the other drivers at Napa Racing was to guide Sam along to
Yeah,
be fully part of the Napa Four, if you like. And it rather looks like that's where it's gone, which is brilliant. The experiment has worked, with having all those experienced drivers all working together to give a less experienced driver that opportunity in a good car. So yes, I'm excited about it. I'm just seeing some of the comments here. I see Divan is here, and he's asked me how many shortbread I've eaten. That's so Divan's mum yesterday.
yeah,
Divan gave me a little Tupperware box of his mum's exquisite shortbread that she makes. And Divan, I've had 3 shortbread since you gave them to me, so I think I've done all right. I'm pacing myself. I'm pacing myself until the next delivery, if indeed I get one next weekend at Donington Park. They are exquisite. So please thank your mum, and don't look how tight my belt is when we get to Donington Park in a couple of weeks. And there was another message that I saw which came through, which was from Tracy saying, thank you for the content that we put out yesterday. You are more than welcome, Tracy. I'm glad you were listening. And the format that we did, Andy,
Yeah.
yesterday is going to be throughout the year.
You know.
So Toke Live is going to see me sort of presenting the day, if you like, from the commentary box, um, and interacting with fans and supporters that are either at the circuit or maybe at home listening online, at work listening online. That WhatsApp number and email address, that will be throughout the year. What I really wanted to do this year, above anything else, is to bring in fan engagement from people that are at the circuit, touring car fans,
Yeah.
to get their thoughts, their feedback, even that, that just the opposite opportunity to give a shout out and that kind of thing, and a happy birthday here and a happy anniversary there. So that's very much going to be the format of what we do this year, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, because like I said to you earlier, it made me feel like I was actually there
It's
physically.
nice. And that is precisely the kind of thing the kind of feedback that we want, because that's what we need to do. Not
Yeah.
everyone can get to
No.
every race meeting, so painting a picture of what we can see at the circuit, so it brings in people that are listening from wherever online. Another great thing that's happening this year is the fact that ITV are streaming on outside of the UK on YouTube, so that people can see what's going on at the circuit on a race day as well. But obviously, our coverage covers the whole of every day, so it's not just the televised segment of the weekend. So yeah, I was really chuffed with the way that Toke Live went yesterday, and all the technical bits worked, which was what we were hoping for. And I've spent a few hours today just tweaking a few bits here and there to make it even nicer. One of the things that I really want to focus on this year, and it's one of those sort of transparent things, really, to a listener or a fan listening online. You don't know when sound quality is great, but
Yeah.
you notice it when it's awful. And I want our sound quality this year to be, there is no excuse for it not being absolutely hi-fi quality. So when you're listening at home, it's just an effortless thing to do. So I've been working on sound quality. Just because we're streaming online doesn't mean to say that it doesn't have to sound absolutely proper.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because obviously when I was listening to it yesterday, I could obviously hear the cars going round, and it just felt like, I'm actually there and and visualizing exactly what's going on myself.
Good
You know,
microphones,
yeah,
good mixing desk, no buzzes. Donington's equipment, their infrastructure is fantastically professional equipment, and my equipment as well that interfaces to theirs is really nice gear. So yeah, you should be able to hear on the radio, mate. You should be able to hear the birds singing in the background when the cars are going around. That's my hope. That's what I hope for.
but like I say, it was really good just to hear exactly what was going on, interacting with you and Chris yesterday. It's what it's all about. Not many, like you say, not many fans can make every meeting. So, it's obviously, if anyone wants a good word about it, you feel like you're there yourself,
And
even if you're
can
not.
be they can be even more involved, getting involved with our WhatsApp number and our email address as well, which is it's a really cool thing, Andy. Really good. I'm very pleased that Alan Gale was was receptive when I asked him if I could do it.
What would you have done if he said no?
Um, I so we, we'd have carried on doing what we were doing,
Yeah, cool.
but what I presented was, I suppose, something that was difficult not to want to at least try out,
Yeah,
because it was only ever going to be an improvement on what we were already doing. To introduce somebody else, um, either Josh Barrett or Ian Waterhouse this year,
yeah,
to the pit lane to cover the support races, means I can properly concentrate on presenting the day, making sure that that's slick, tight, involves interaction with fans, but also for silly things, sort of, for example, if you've got lots of podiums after a race, for Porsche Sprint Challenge, for example,
yeah.
they have 4 podiums, so that takes a long time, and potentially that's going to cross over to the start of the next race. Well, for the fans that are listening, they do want to hear the podium. They do want to hear the start of the race. So we can actually split off, because we've got enough people now. We can
Yeah,
split off and go our own ways. So Josh or Ian can carry on presenting the podium. That's absolutely fine. But as far as the main broadcast is concerned, we need to get to the start of the race. So we've got enough. The fact that we're doing it this way, we've got enough people now to make it possible to do exactly that.
that's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. What would we have done if Mr. Gow had said no? Um, First of all, I'd probably had a bit of a cry,
Yeah,
and then we'd have carried on and tried to restructure what we were doing to um, to allow podiums to take place without covering the start of races. I don't know how we would have done it. We'd have come up with another system, but that's just the way the championship has changed. And ITV, they interview the drivers for a while, so we don't get the drivers for the podium for a while. So that's just the way things have changed over the years.
yeah,
And their interviews in Park Fair may now take a little longer than they used to. So it's all of those things. It's just little tweaks that we have to do every year, and then eventually you get a big tweak. And what we're doing this year with Toke Alive is going to be a big tweak, and it's going to be a blooming good year to do it as well.
yeah. Just reading some of the questions that we have. Daryl's asking, which is your favourite circuit to broadcast from and why?
Um, so so that's a really good question, because from my point of view, really selfish. I'll talk about the circuits where um, the infrastructure and the way the equipment works is simplest and the least complicated. So Donington is a great one, because the engineer there is a very old friend of mine, a guy called Bob Dawson, who used to be. I first met Bob Dawson in the 1990s as one of the engineers on Toka Radio when we did the radio station, and also an engineer on Radio Le Mans and the British Grand Prix, and so many meetings. So I've worked with Bob for so many years, and he gets it. Okay, he absolutely completely gets it. He really does know his stuff. Um, he knows way more about technical things than I do.
Mm.
And when I say, okay, Bob, we need to do this, yeah, I think we can do that. And he'll have a little ponder. And so technical is Bob's brain that on Le Mans one year, we were talking about him on Radio Le Mans.
Yeah,
And we mentioned that Bob had sorted out a generator or something. And then, so weirdly, people started ringing in, or emailing in from the campsite saying, oh, can Bob come and fix our refrigerator? Um, and, and, and so we got to this stage that we had a little feature in the morning of
Yeah,
Bob taking calls. And someone would say, "Oh, the generator's packed up, Bob. I wonder what flux capacitor you're running in that." And honestly, it was absolutely brilliant, bloke. So which circuit do? One of many. Those that have got the infrastructure, Silverstone has got beautiful infrastructure, and good people working with us. Um, uh, uh, so Donington with Bob, Silverstone, Knock Hill has got a great infrastructure. They've always completely understood the importance of a radio station for race fans over the weekend. So for every meeting they have, they run Radio Knock Hill. And so you go into the commentary box and it's set up as a radio studio. You walk in there and it's so yeah. So that's not fair. I could mention great things about every circuit that we go to over the course of the year, but they're three that I've picked out as being really no nonsense, jolly good. Everything always works, and it's brilliant to work there.
yeah. Pretty good then, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Um, so I'm having a look at some of the questions as well. Divan says, "How many seasons have you been doing interviews in the pit lane for?" So I started in 1993 with BARC meetings,
Yeah,
interviewing podiums, that kind of thing. And then 1994, I did commentaries from the box as well, and did my first touring car meeting. Um, so so over 30 years now, which is really quite scary, because it doesn't feel like that long.
yeah,
And also, I'm still learning stuff. I'm still learning about. So one of my things about interviewing people, not necessarily drivers, um, but just interviewing other human beings, is saying the right thing at the right time and not saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. So so it's a human interest thing really that I have with motor racing, and trying to get the best out of whoever I talk to over the course of the weekend,
yeah,
um, but get the best out of them without um, making them feel bad, or just being sensitive to them as people. I think
yeah. Because we're all human at the end of the day.
it's a human interest thing for me. I'm fascinated. I couldn't do what racing drivers do. I don't have the fearless bone in my body, so I'd be constantly worried about what could go wrong, and so I could never do what they do. So there's fundamentally in my mind there's an inquisitive part of what I do that genuinely wants to know the answer to the questions that I ask, and I think that's quite important. I mean, I could go off on a rant now, and I mean, I think I probably will, because
Feel free.
more and more what are they? Content
Yeah,
creators
yes,
are appearing in the world of motor racing, and that's inevitable because of the rise of social media. But um, but I have to say, a lot of it I find completely pointless. Asking someone if you were a dog, what dog would you be?
yeah,
That's just a silly example, but I see a lot of it in and around Formula One nowadays, and to be honest, when I was involved with Formula One. That I know at the time that the drivers wouldn't have tolerated those kind of questions. They would have turned on their heel and walked away. And my point is, I don't know why they tolerate it now. It's just so utterly pointless for what they do, and I don't get why it's entertaining. I don't get why those sort of there's one content creator that um, that I've seen has done lots of arm wrestling with the drivers. I, I, I don't I don't
But
I don't get it.
I don't see that.
I just don't get it. I don't know why.
I don't either.
No.
I don't see sort of like content creating. Obviously, I do what I do for this, obviously the vlogs and that. But I'd never like go and say stupid questions or do stupid things.
No, no, I just don't. I don't know how we've got. I don't know how we've got to a point that um, that people think that's what people
Mm,
um, want to ingest. I like finding out about drivers. I like to find out about their lives. I like to find out about what they like doing. You know, when they're not at a race circuit, how they prepare for. But you know. I don't know why anyone would want to
I don't know.
arm wrestle me. I don't know why that was.
I suppose it's a new breed of fun that's come along,
It
isn't it? I
is, yeah,
suppose.
it is. It
Um,
is. At the moment, it's unique to Formula One.
yeah,
That I've seen these things sort of coming
it's
through.
weird. It's weird. It's like
But I suppose what I'm saying is I hope it doesn't sort of filter down into every form of sport, because you know these people are athletes.
yeah. Oh,
They have trained, they have worked, um, and they have sacrificed so much, and their families have sacrificed so much,
exactly.
and and to ask someone for an arm wrestle, I think is a bit is a bit belittling what they have worked to do
Yeah.
or achieved or whatever.
It's
And that's just one example. That's just
it's not
one
showing.
example of what I've seen.
Yeah, it's not showing the gratitude for the driver or the
No,
sponsor being on the grid, is it? Really?
it's yeah, it's not the way
No.
not the way I'd like everything to go. I'm surprised really that that the drivers they all seem to be all right with it. They seem to smile through it and do it quite happily. But
I suppose to a degree they've got to, haven't they? But you know, you've got people like I say, it's probably the newer fans that have come in and never knew anything.
mm,
But
mm.
it's hard to tell with that. But like I say, there's no way on earth I'd do something like that. I'd rather get to know certain drivers and certain aspects. You know.
I've just seen a question, Andy,
Agree.
from Rally Ranch Hangout. What is your all-time favourite BTCC car? You have to bear with me, Andy. Um, um, uh, uh, speak to yourself for a second.
It's all right. So yes, guys, I hope you're enjoying the interview. If you can, please like and follow my page if you're new around here. If you're not, then obviously you guys have followed. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the interview so far. I'm enjoying this. It's great. I'm really happy that we've managed to get on this evening.
And that's my
Um,
answer, Andy. Look, that's
I
my
I can't,
answer.
I can't
It,
physically see it because it's blank on my
it
screen at the
is
moment.
um, Alan Menus, caliber-backed Williams Renault
Oh, then
Laguna.
between
Um, I've got a lovely little model of it, which lives in my living room, and
you know,
so and the reason why that's special to me is well, it's twofold. The when I first started doing commentary more regularly with the BTCC,
yeah,
um, I was and still am a fan of the BTCC. If I wasn't working around touring cars, I'd still be watching it. I'd still be going to race circuits and watching it. Um, and at the time so I was getting a few meetings, and um, there used to be testing at the circuit that we were about to race at,
Mhm.
um, maybe a few days before the meeting. So I was down to work, I think, at Thruxton,
Okay.
um, and uh, and the previous weekend or a couple of weekends before, um, they were racing at Brands Hatch, and I wasn't working at that meeting. But I went along on Friday and just to watch testing. And I sat in the grandstand at the top of Paddock Hill Bend and saw Alain Menu turning into Paddock Hill Bend. And for those people that have done it, sitting in that grandstand looking down on Paddock Hill Bend is absolutely blooming awesome. That is such an amazing view. Remember watching World Sports Car Championship with the Mercedes and the Jaguars doing the 1,000 kilometers at Brands Hatch, doing exactly that. Go, whoa! And so too it was with a super touring car. And I watched the car, I watched this very car turning into Paddock Hill Bend and thought, and it was a really weird feeling. I thought, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be standing right next to that car and talking to the driver. And it was a weird crossover between I'm involved in this sport and I never had any plan or intention to be involved with it, but here I am, a fan, and that massively excites me. So that's my little memory of that car. A very, very kind gentleman, fan of BTCC, um, painted me a beautiful painting of that car a couple of years ago, and I've got the little model, and that is the answer. So yeah, that's the answer to the question.
That's fantastic. It's like, obviously, like I say, I started going in '99, so I've had all sorts of variation touring cars I've liked over the years. It's mad.
By that time, it was the Nescafe Blend 37 Williams Renault Laguna, and it was the green car,
Yeah.
and I remember Toka Radio was sponsored by Nescafe Blend 37. So we were told at the time that we could only ever refer to the car as the Nescafe Blend 37 Williams Renault Laguna. So you had to end up learning to say it. And then I thought, well, we should refer to every car. So the Nissan became the Vodafone Racing Nissan Primera GT. You would always use the full title to describe a car. Just looking at Max Hall's car, the Cupra Leon, the Rocket Racing with Unlimited Motorsport Cupra Leon. I'm going to have to, if I'm going to do that and refer to all the cars by their full title, I've got a bit of learning to do. The LKQ Euro Car Parts Racing with WSR BMW 330 IMs, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Let me put this back. I'll be two ticks, two ticks.
No worries. But yeah, keep your questions coming in, guys, because we will try and get them answered as best as we can. But yeah, pretty good this interview, to be fair, isn't it? Well, chat, should I say? Obviously, if you need, like I say, if you're new around here, please do like the page because it will help me massively and it will get me recognised for great content such as this.
I'll put it back. I'll put it back. We've got other things that we need to talk about. The
It's fine, mate.
return of Gordon Shedden.
Yes.
I don't know how many people saw that coming, but
I,
that is great news, isn't it?
it is. I never saw it coming.
No,
I never.
don't
I
think any of us did.
no. And I was thinking, obviously, you know, like everyone's obviously noticed when he came back in, when he won 22, wasn't it? When he came back with Dynamics, obviously we thought, oh, he's back. But then we kind of thought, yeah, he's coming back because he's a great driver. But we kind of knew when he came back for Dynamics, it's like, here we go. He's gonna be straight on the money. But now,
he,
but
he,
now,
he, he absolutely will. And make no mistake, the fact that Andy Rouse, Colin Turkington, and Ash Sutton have won 4 titles, and
yeah,
Flash has only won 3.
yeah,
Make no mistake, Flash wants to be part of that exclusive gang. So he's going to be flat out maximum this year, and Flash, when he's flat out and maximum, is a joy to watch. Rally Ranch Hangout also said, with Jade Edwards gone from BTCC the past few years, what more could be done to attract female racing drivers to the BTCC grid? So I do have an answer for this. I'm not sure she's gone for good. I mean, she's got a nice job that she is perfectly suited for, and I told her this years ago that she would, because Jade Edwards, to listeners of Tin Top Tuesday, may remember, I used to have Jade on the show. She used to come into the studio and used to go through tweets and emails and stuff. So and she's a natural. Talking on a microphone, she's a natural. And so she's brilliantly suited to that. But if she was to get a call and say, do you want to go out in a third Honda at One Motorsport? I'm sure if the deal was right, she would absolutely would whatever commitments she's got elsewhere, she would get on the phone and say, could I possibly do a little bit less during the day for ITV, because I really want to take up this drive. She is a racer at heart, and it's impossible to talk her out of it, and quite right too. But that wasn't the point of the question. The point of the question was, how do we get women into BTCC cars? And unfortunately, I was scrolling through social media over the weekend,
mhm,
and someone said something. They were talking about Bianca Bustamante, who is doing GB3 this year.
yeah,
And someone made the comment, and they said, "Yeah, but she's not going to get to Formula One, is she? Unless she's doing Formula cars." Okay, so GB3 is a Formula car. It's an incredibly advanced single seater. Um, uh, my goodness, they even have the facility of DRS in GB3, which is incredible. What the person was thinking was that if you're not doing FIA Formula 3, FIA Formula 2, then you're not in a Formula car, which is, of course, absolute nonsense. But the way that it used to work is that to young drivers, male or female, um, there wasn't just this golden gate at the end of your apprenticeship in motor racing to be in Formula One. And if there are 20 places on the grid and you are somebody that does probability, the probability, however good you are, is that you're never going to make it onto the Formula One grid. So 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 my problem is, as much as there are talented female drivers, and Formula One Academy is proof of that. We've seen drivers like Jamie Chadwick driving on the world stage and doing brilliant stuff behind the wheel of a single seater car. But there needs to be a sort of an awareness that your motor racing career doesn't necessarily just end in IndyCar in America
mm,
or Formula One. There are other things that you can do. And if you are a driver that is smart business wise, like Jade, like Bianca, like so many other quick female drivers, then they can use that as a beautiful marketing opportunity to racing at the pinnacle of motorsport in a country. So not necessarily the BTCC. We'd like them in the BTCC, but they anywhere in the world. DTM.
yeah, of course.
Who knows what else? it feels like we're being a bit concentric with young talent now, and only thinking of the possibility of drivers making it to Formula One, and of course that's absolute nonsense. They could
Well,
come along and race in the BTCC and have an amazing time. And drivers in the past, I go back to so often back to the 1990s when drivers that had competed, Gianni Morbidelli, Nigel Mansell,
yeah.
um, drivers that have competed in Formula One, or maybe have yet to compete in Formula One, that are quite happy to come along and race in tin tops as well. And when you're learning the skills and working as hard as Bianca Bustamante is, for example, and also getting the kind of following that she's getting on social media, that would be a great opportunity, wouldn't it,
Well,
to have someone like that in the BTCC?
I think it's very. I think it's very difficult that people don't think before they type things after time as well on social media.
Yes. So social media is a fantastic. It allows us to do this, to have a chat, and to go through things that we wouldn't have a chance to do on a race weekend. But also, it's bad news because people, it's so quick to make a reply, isn't it? And people reply according to their mood at that time, and it's a timeless thing. If you make a response that reflects your mood at that time, in 24 hours that might not be, but it's still there. It's still there forever. So
It's
yeah.
still there. Someone decides when they've typed it, and it's still there, and then they get what is it? Sort of people jumping on and saying, "Well, what are you trying to say here?" Some people just obviously think, "Yeah, I'll comment this," but then a couple of days later, it's either been removed or they've had to remove it because of how
Yeah,
much
that's
hate.
very true. Yeah, it's very true. And you have to. So
Which,
in answer to that question of Rally Ranch Hangout, yeah, we need to get women into the BTCC. That's something we have been blessed with women drivers, really good women drivers over the years, and we need to get that back. And maybe that's down to a bit of education to really talented drivers that are competing with a goal of being in Formula One, and letting them know that's not the only option.
no,
You can make a very, very good living and have really successful racing in the BTCC. Now you go and do your bit. You market yourself to the potential sponsors, and you could be an asset to the championship. And we would absolutely love to see that. So it's a question of maybe. Um, I don't know who does it, but to let these talented young drivers know that we're here and that we are a possibility, and that it's a very attractive thing to a sponsor to have all this live coverage on ITV, and to be pretty much the biggest touring car championship anywhere on the planet, which is something to be incredibly proud of.
oh, of course.
I'm looking down the times from yesterday, just to pick out a couple of other people that I want to have a talk about. Um, uh, I, so Max Hall.
Yeah.
Here's my prediction at the start of this year. Max Hall is going to be incredibly entertaining this year. I can't wait to see how his year pans out. I think he's young, he's exciting, he's a very, very quick driver. He's got a great personality, he's got a good sense of humour. He was carrying his own bag out the paddock at the end of yesterday. So he's under no illusions that now I'm a touring car driver, I get people to carry the race suit.
Well,
He's going to be great to watch this year.
he
Absolutely
he
brilliant.
he proved a point yesterday, obviously when I was listening in, saying obviously when his brake pedal went to the floor, he went in and admitted that that happened, and he's obviously switched on about
Yeah,
it
yeah,
very quickly.
yeah, yeah. He is. He is a great driver. Excuse me, that was a Pepsi Max burp. Uh, other things that I'm interested in watching this year, Ronan Pearson, very much unfinished business.
Yeah,
He's started, he's opened the account, he's tasted victory in the BTCC. And then wasn't able to finish the whole of last year. Make no mistake, he's going to be hungry to be a career BTCC driver. That's what he wants to do. He's been like you and I,
yeah,
fans of the championship since he was a toddler. Um, so I'm delighted he's back and getting the opportunity with Toyota. Could talk about every single one of these drivers, you know. Um,
there's
I,
too
I,
many.
I am fascinated to know how Darrell De Leon is going to get on this year. A, he's a lovely fella, a really nice bloke. B, an incredibly quick driver, and very, very young to be quite at the stage that he's at.
Yeah,
And now he's got this opportunity in a rear-wheel drive BMW. And let's not forget he's been a GT champion in the country in recent years.
of course.
So he knows about rear wheel drive. He knows how to drive these machines. He's relishing the opportunity of learning it at the moment. He's going to be one to watch. Charles Rainford, he knows about rear wheel drive. He's got to learn the ways of the BTCC.
Yeah,
He's going to be one to watch. The return of Stephen Chelly, Aaron Taylor Smith swaps teams. He had a brilliant year last year. He was he received a huge amount of votes from the other drivers on the grid at the end of last year to be the driver's driver of the year. He was bowled over by the amount of people that had voted for him. I think he was second in the standings when we did the presentation at the end of the year. I think they voted for Jake as their driver of the year. But for his compatriots, his other drivers to have voted for him, Aaron was beside himself. It gave him a massive boost.
He. The thing is, I'm a bit. Well, it was great last season. I think going into Speedworks and going to manufacture back this season, I think it's really great for him because that's what
It,
he's been working for years on end
it,
to get there.
it absolutely is. He works so hard behind the scenes to put all his sponsors together. He's got, I forget the number, but it's well into double figures of supporters and sponsors that allow him to go racing, and he does cool things for them. He got them all together at Speedworks headquarters a couple of weeks ago and had a little launch party for them. He's got this WhatsApp group where he keeps everybody up to date with what's happening, makes little videos. He's so proactive. He and Lauren, his wife, they're so proactive. They do such good work to be on the grid. And Aaron is one to watch this year. How many of these drivers could be winners this year? Josh Cook, top of the times yesterday.
Yeah,
When I did Tin Top Tuesday the other week, Matt James, the editor of Motorsport News, actually nailed his colours to the mast before we've had one round, and he said, "I think Josh is going to be champion this year. He's back with a team he knows. I mean, given the right circumstances, Josh could or should have been a champion
yeah.
before now,
But
and for certain he should be a champion in the future. Maybe this is Josh's year.
who knows? Who knows? You know,
That would be, it would be fantastic if it was.
oh, it would be.
I mean,
He knows the car quite well as well because how many years has he been in that car for?
he knows the car, he knows the team. It's a familiar environment. He proved yesterday at the end of the test session, okay, by 3 thousandths of a second, he was quicker than Ash Sutton. That's why the end was so electrifying. The
Oh, yeah.
two old teammates that used to battle it out on circuit so beautifully, right at the top of the times, just 3 thousandths of a second between the two of them. So that's a fascinating story. Of course, Tingram hungry for a second title, oh, that was the other one that I wanted to mention. The fact that Adam Morgan has
Yeah.
gone from the BMW to the Hyundai, and seemingly from the outset has just adapted to the car perfectly. He was looking really, really quick yesterday, looking great on circuit. And the final thing that I'll say, because I don't want to hold everybody up for ages and ages, and
You're
I've got
welcome.
I've got a really early alarm call tomorrow morning for a job covering gymnastics, if you if you would believe it.
Oh yeah. I tried to get you on. Was it a week ago or sometime this week? And you said you had that on.
Just doing a I think it's called artistic gymnastics. Whatever. It's early tomorrow morning. But the last thing I wanted to talk about, Andy, which I really do want to mention, is Nick Hamilton,
Yeah.
because he is without doubt the most inspirational bloke I've ever met in my life.
Absolutely. And I agree with
I,
that.
th- I think he is amazing. If people haven't read his book, or you don't even have to read it, you can do what I did, which was to listen to it on Spotify, and he reads his own book. It is humbling. It will make you cry. It will make you smile. You just realise how much. What was it his father said to me when he finished in his best ever finishing position at Donington Park a couple of years ago, and I interviewed Anthony down in the pit lane, his dad, and Anthony said, "Not bad for the bloke who never says I can't." And that is it absolutely sums him up. He never ever says that he can't do something. He makes himself do it. If it's getting sponsors, if it's being on the grid, being in the BTCC to Nick Hamilton means everything. And
It
and
does.
and and for Nick, I bet being in the BTCC this year is as big to Nick as to his brother going to Ferrari. Make no mistake, Nick would have been absolutely distraught if he wasn't on the grid for a second year running. And I am so pleased that he's going to get this chance. And you know what? I reckon
It's,
he's going to come up with some good results this year.
I'm
I
sure.
mean that meeting at Donington Park was so special. And I want him to do that again. I want him to get better. I want him to take an independent win, and I want to see him on a podium as well.
It would be good if we saw that because, like you say, he's an inspiration to many. I don't
Ah,
understand. So many people give him stick. I hate it.
so so
It
So if people give Nick a bit of stick, um, it would be my assessment that they would do so from a position of jealousy,
yes, exactly.
and the position of jealousy will be nothing to do with Nick. It will be because he is the brother of Lewis,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
got nothing to do with
Yeah.
Nick. So don't take anything out on Nick. It's got nothing to do with him.
No,
And his brother is his own person. His brother, who I have known for many years, is an incredibly hard worker. Has worked and worked and worked and been so determined to get to the place that he's got to. And okay, you might not be a fan of Lewis Hamilton. Maybe the fans of Drive to Survive see what they want to see and they support their driver, and they don't don't give enough credit for
yeah,
somebody that wins that many world championships. You've got to be pretty amazing to be able to do that, and Lewis has done it, and he did it. He started the journey in the Toka paddock all those years ago in Formula Renault,
yeah,
and he was stunning and stood out from the crowd then. And Nick, back in those days, Formula Renault in the Toka Sport package, was in a wheelchair,
of course.
and he was pushed around, and he wanted to be a racer. He wanted to be in a racing car like his brother. So he taught himself how to walk.
Yeah.
So just so he could be in a racing car. And there aren't many people that would go to those lengths, given the challenges that Nick has got
Yeah.
to be in a racing car, be so, um, I'm not going to say desperate, but so determined to be in a race car, to teach yourself to get out of a wheelchair and walk and build up all that upper body strength so he can do it. His upper body strength is something to behold. It is incredible, and he's done all of that. He is. Sounds like I've had a rant there, but you mentioned people that give Nick
Yeah.
Hamilton stick, and that does make me cross.
Yeah. It makes
He
me angry. Oh,
so
because
so so if you look right, if you look at the times from testing yesterday,
yeah.
he he um he he the gap from Josh Cook to Nick Hamilton, a couple of seconds. Okay, Nick
Mm,
hasn't been in a car for a year.
no.
Uh, he, I find this incredible, but bearing in mind that 15 years ago, 16 years ago, he was in
Yeah.
a wheelchair,
Of course.
and now he's on the grid for the BTCC, and he's able to do that. He's able to um, do that supreme race at Donington Park. Just to be competing at this level is out of this world, and he's a really nice guy.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's my measure of a person. Whatever they do, if they're a nice bloke, if they're nice to me, then that's all right with me.
Exactly.
So that was the last one that I wanted to pick out ahead of the season. But I'm chuffed to pieces that he's out. I really am.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think people just need to understand, what he does and how much of an inspiration he is. The thing is, it's very difficult for me to try and avoid the keyboard warriors because it just boils me into a fit of rage.
Yeah, let the Warriors warrior. I don't know how Nick turns a blind eye to it when if he sees anybody criticising.
Yeah,
In his mind, I'm sure he just thinks, um, spend an hour, spend a day in my shoes,
yeah,
and then see if you think that it's something to criticise, or even if you don't have any challenges physically,
yeah,
get into a touring car and try and put in a lap time that's within a second or a half a second of the drivers that are at the front of the field. No one would be able to do it. They can't do it.
yeah.
It's very easy to sit behind a keyboard and
No,
to
no,
criticize, but
yeah,
I implore anybody to read Nick's book or to listen to his audio book and be humbled. There is a guy that is an inspiration to any human being. I was just really pleased. Daryl Allen, hi Daryl, said absolutely agree. Lovely words about Nick Hamilton, and thank you for your kind words, Daryl. And also, Will. Said good evening, and we didn't say hi to him. It looks like Will's going to be at Donington in a couple of weeks' time, Andy.
yes, yeah. He's
You're
obviously
going to be
working.
there? You're going to be there?
Sadly, not. No, I'm going to be at Snetterton in May.
Are you? Are you?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that's
I'm making a long trip again. I'm making it. This is now my third year in a row coming to Snetterton.
is it really?
Yeah.
What why particularly Snetterton? Why do you go for Snet?
Um. I've- Obviously, like I say, I've been for the last 2 years. It's obviously the third year this year. I just like it. It's just a great way to just have a weekend away, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
obviously, and I'm obviously try and go to Croft if I can because it's the nearest one. But
Mm, mm,
Snetterton's Snetterton's just good because obviously I get to catch up with Daryl because Daryl's a good mate of mine. So
yeah,
you
I
know,
do too. It's a lovely part of the world. It's a great circuit. Divan, incidentally, has just said people will say negative comments towards Nick behind the keyboard, but I bet they won't have the guts to say that to his face. And Divan, you're absolutely right. We, I'll finish tonight, Andy, with a story that goes back to my non-motorsport related radio career. One of my best friends, one of my friends for many, many years, is a guy called Ian Collins, and he's a presenter on a radio station called Talk Radio, and he used to be a presenter on Talk Sport, and for a while I was on the show with him, and also his producer, and Ian used to get a lot of the presenters do. I'm sure all of the presenters do. Used to get some horrible emails. Maybe he's expressed a political opinion that other people don't agree with or whatever. But the emails were personal and horrible, and they all got them. All the presenters got them. But on one occasion, Ian said to me, "Okay, this guy, has been consistently and regularly sending in nasty stuff. Why don't you go the other side of the class, give him a call? We've got his number. Give him a call and invite him in to watch an episode of the show being broadcast." And it was late at night. We did a late night show, and I was nervous about ringing the number, and we would have come up as an ex-directory number, so it was a number withheld. And rang this bloke up and explained who I was, and he could not have been nicer. He could not have been more complimentary about Ian, about the show, about everything that we did, and oh yeah, I'd love to come in and watch the show. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks very much. So off the back of what Divan said about people that write, nasty stuff on a keyboard, they wouldn't say it to someone's face. No, and they'd probably be the other way. If somebody said something nasty about one of the drivers, about Nick Hamilton or whoever, I bet you any money you like, if Nick Hamilton got their telephone number, rang them up and said, "Hello, mate, it's Nick Hamilton here. Just wondering if you'd like to come over for a cup of tea." And you bet your bottom dollar they would be as nice and as lovely as you could possibly hope to be to any human being. So so I have to leave it there, Andy, because I'm looking at the time, and I've got my computer here. It says it's 10:15. That's way past my bedtime for doing gymnastics in the morning.
I do apologise for keeping
Not
you
at all.
this long.
I talk too much. What can I say?
No, but it's been an absolute honour yet again to have you on here. You came on in October and you said it was a great place and a safe place to be. It still is.
It's a lovely place to be. Everybody's nice. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm so impressed that of what you do, Andy. Is just brilliant. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing what you do.
100%. 100%.
You're a top man, Andy. And I apologise that I'm going to bed, but I've got my gymnastics in the morning.
You do something completely different to petrol tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, and Tracy just said thank you to us, Divan as well. I'll tell you what, I'll answer the question, Divan, about Macau when I see you at Donington Park in a week and a half's time. But for now, I need to go to bed. Andy, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Mate, I'll catch up at Snetterton in May then.
You most certainly will. Don't you worry about that. No, Andy.
All right, mate. Take care.
No.
There we go, guys. I hope you've really enjoyed that chat with Alan Hyde. I certainly have enjoyed it. I'm going to stay till probably about 10 o'clock because, with with a lot of things to talk about, all things BTCC, a bit of other things. To be fair, if you don't know who I am and you've just joined the page, obviously I'm Andy, or Hoppers, as everyone knows me. I'm a BTCC fanatic for 25 and a half years. And I do various interviews with various drivers' teams, um, for more spectrum of motorsport. Um, and we've got some great content coming very soon. We've got, of course, a BTCC rate or roast deliveries for the 2025 season. That's this Friday, at 9 p.m. British Summer Time. If you are into British touring cars, then do check it out. And obviously check out the page. On Monday, I don't know what we're talking about on Monday. There is a schedule on the page somewhere. Excuse me. But yeah, there's a lot of content. I obviously do these live videos twice a week, 3 times a week if we have a guest. Just recently, we've had our guest in 1 month, in the month of February. It's been a massive challenge. I don't know how else I can explain. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Napa boys, but predominantly my pal, Mr. Dan Rowbottom. He's the next aim to get on this year, if I can. But he's a very busy guy. But if you'd like what you see here, it's been great. I've really, really obviously read some comments. Different. To be fair, mate, I'll sort something out for you for that, mate. I'll sort something out. Because I think you're an absolute star for that, mate. I wasn't really, Alan did message me earlier at work to say he was still up for it anyway, but you reminded him, and it was great that you did. As I say, I'll sort something out. I do a lot of these vlogs and live videos, and I put a lot of things and effort, content-wise, into the page because it's my passion. I've been doing, as I say, I've been a BTCC fan for 25 and a half years. I've been doing this for 6 years. If you've got any questions or you've got anything you want to know a bit more, then obviously I can answer them. I'm more than happy to, just sit for until 10 o'clock. But I'm glad you've all enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed it. It's it's all different. I know you're having a laugh with me, mate. Like I say, you helped me out, so I'll sort something out for you, mate. It's no bother. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone being here. I do apologise if I mutter or I struggle with words and pronunciations of things if you do ever watch a live video. But as I say, I'm a BTCC fan. I will continue that. As I say, if you haven't liked the page or followed the page, please do. It will help me out massively, because I want to try and get recognition for what I do. I'm glad people have enjoyed it tonight. I've really enjoyed what we've done tonight. I couldn't really ask for more. To be honest, it just shows that things get bigger and better. We are hopefully going to get bigger and better. I'm just going to read through some of the comments just in case I missed anyone saying hello to me. Will, if you're still here, mate, hello. I was going to say hello to you, but you were, I was too busy chatting. Tracy, what was people's best moment from yesterday? Obviously, I wasn't there, but obviously, I was listening on Token Live. Just listening to Token Live thing was what really, what made it feel like I was there personally. But also seeing pictures of deliveries. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I'd like to give a massive thank you yet again to Alan Hyde for literally giving up his time for yet again coming on here. He came on here in 2023, as I said, and absolute out of this world just to catch up and have a chat. What more do you really want? It becomes, I'll be honest, I'm a bit emotional because to do this and to hear words like, keep at it, and he's yeah, again, he's agreed it's a safe place to be, and he really likes coming here, and you guys really behaving yourselves in the comments, and literally, what's the word, pushing on. I really couldn't do this without you guys. It's, I'm going to be honest, to talk all things BTCC, I'll never shut up. I'll probably talk in my sleep about it. But no, I'm really glad that we've got another great guest on, a returning guest as well. I seriously, I don't know how to word it, but without the community, we wouldn't be doing what we do. I on this, this is not my day-to-day job. This is my project, just outside of work, just to, in my free time, and also just monumentally talk all things touring cars or motorsport. Sometimes have a bit of a rant about things. But yeah, the thing is, there's a lot of things, you could put, like Stefan says, when, like, his best bit yesterday was being trackside yesterday for the first time since last year, and then obviously see the cars up in close and personal, catch up with friends that you haven't seen for years, and obviously seeing new faces. If you guys ever see me at circuit this year, if you see me at Snetterton, do come and say hello to me. Don't think I'll ignore you. I even have a few of my Hoppers Motorsport Blog stickers on me. I'm really grateful for everyone being here. It takes, as I say, it takes time and blood, sweat and tears to, get where I am these days. But, I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. As I say, the community, you guys have literally, over the last couple of weeks, maybe the last couple of months, smashed it out of the park with all the comments and the likes and everything. It is a whirlwind. What I've achieved over the last couple of months, maybe the last year. Max Hall's livery, yeah, it's a striking livery. I never ever, I'll be honest, I never ever actually thought that, I don't know how to word it, that it would be possible to have his livery, like his JCW from last year, onto that. But they've obviously, whoever designed it has pulled it out of the bag. There's a lot of liveries. We're going about liveries on Friday when we rate them or roast them. And we'll go from there. But what did you think about tonight, guys? Excuse me. Let me know what you think about tonight. Was tonight good? Was there anything you really liked? What Or another question for you: who do you want as the next guest? Who would you like as the ultimate guest that I can try and get? Let me know in the comments. Obviously, as I say, it's I don't know. I'm struggling for words now, but I'm amazed how well things have gone tonight. It's been, things like this has been a long time coming to get returning guests. I can't thank Alan for his time enough, because he is one of the best. I've got to know him quite well. And getting to, getting him on the page. When he came on in 2023, I was thinking he enjoyed his time. He enjoyed his time then. He's enjoyed it tonight. To have a lot of things is potentially what we need. We need bigger and better things. The life was brilliant. Once again, the next guest, Alan Gow. Imagine having Alan Gow on here. He'd probably be like, "What the hell's this? Are we getting roasted, or is the BCCC going to show its true colours of fans?" But you never know. I might try and get hold of how we can get hold of him and ask him. You never know. Daryl, I like how Alan decided what to talk about. Different class, yeah. I think personally, to have, I think personally, if we talked about the whole class of the field, the 25 field, the 25 grid, I think it would have been a long and probably like rating. But no, to talk about different rate of things and talk about, like you guys were asking, what's his favourite circuit to commentate on, favourite touring car, favourite, anything that you asked him, it it really became a great thing, and it was great that he was seeing some of the comments as well. Top class, what more could you ask for? I personally have thoroughly enjoyed it. Really, I'll be honest. When I go live, when I hit the live button, sometimes when I'm doing the live videos on my own, I get a bit nervous. I get a bit worried about how people are going to be. But you guys, the community, make me at ease. What else you want to know, guys? Stick it in the comments because we'll stay for a bit. Because you guys deserve a bit of a contact. I do deserve a bit of a wind down. So with that, I'm going to open a can of beer because we've finished the live video. Well, we've not finished it, but we've finished the main part of tonight. It's been great. I wouldn't have this any other way with the community. I think bringing and Lee, thank you for sharing it around. Sharing the post round that I did earlier to get everyone to know about tonight. Much appreciated, mate. I can't thank you guys that are helping me out massively at the moment. I'll be honest, it takes a lot of weight off my shoulders having to think, well, I'm at work. Would have to schedule a post to go out. I don't know what I can really say, but thank you for helping, guys. It's been a massive help over the last couple of days or the last hour or so. It is, Daryl. It's phenomenal. The only thing is, what I tell myself over time is, yes, it's okay to be anxious. Yes, it's okay to worry about what goes on in the live videos. But he is, mate. He is, and this is what I like about people that throughout the BTCC. Yeah, that's the thing. If I'm talking about the deliveries on Friday, mate, because I want to get that out there. But like you said, Daryl, Alan was so courteous towards me. It's nice to see people respecting me and actually really liking what I do. I know you guys do, but I guess saying stuff like that, it gets a bit emotional because you think, well, what's next? What's going to happen? Are people going to like what? Are people going to comment some hateful stuff, or the keyboard warriors are going to jump in and it's going to be like, oh, here we go. What do we do? The thing is, it's become. I'll be honest, it's become a bit of a mammoth task over the last couple of years and the last couple of months. Tracy, can't wait to see Creasy's livery next week. I can't, to be fair. We'll talk about liveries and we'll talk about the drivers Friday because I'm doing a sweepstake on Friday. But yeah, as I say, I think things can get bigger and better. There's so many hurdles I have to jump through or jump over to get where I am at the moment with things because it ain't easy doing what I do. Exactly. Yeah, I'll try and get Creasy on if I can, Darryl. I'll definitely try and get him on, mate, because he is a great guy. He's been on before, hasn't he? So, he was in the comments on Monday. So, but it's you guys, it's the community that make me do these live videos that make me happy. And, I'm, to be fair, I'm pretty emotional at once. That tonight's gone very well. It's almost like we started afresh. It's like this week, we have Monday's live video talking about the epic vlog and, such forth. And tonight talking with Al about PTCC. You know, Friday we're going to roast and rate deliveries and do the sweepstake. I've got to get every driver's name on a sheet of paper and cut them up and then draw them out for you guys to have for the year. If you forget who you have, I'll have a list on my phone. You know, exactly, exactly that, mate. Exactly that. You know, they are jealous, and you know, I'm going to be honest. Like I said the other day, you know, about people that you know probably might think I'm boring and I'm repeating what I say and stuff like that. But you know, it is. Yeah, exactly, Tracy. You know, Creasy did go to Donington yesterday after flying from America and then contending with traffic and, you know, ultimately being at media day. It's a shame he wasn't out on track, but then again, maybe it was a blessing in a disguise that, you know, he came back from his holiday just to be, obviously, to be at media day. And what makes me appreciate you guys and enjoy what I do, if you suggest a driver or you want someone on here, and obviously I'm not live, just drop me a message or just say to me, Clippers, can we have try and get such and such? You know, obviously you guys know the aim is of course Mr. Rowbottom, but obviously Dan's a very busy guy outside of BTCC with the likes of being a family man and also doing a lot of work for Cat Clean. So you know there is a lot there, but you never say never. You know, it's like when Dan was watching last year when we wished him well for his operation, and you think how cool was that? You know, he was actually physically watching a bit of my live video. So you know, eh, I'll be honest, eh, I don't know what else I can say without trying to get emotional. But anything else you want to know, just stick it in the comments because I will. I'll stay for a bit. Just run a bit of play, cool down from a high of emotion with a live video. You know, I don't know what it is recently, but I feel like I've, you know, achieved so much so far in the last month. You know, when we had the four guests on, you know, Lee, yourself, you're still engaging and interacting with the comments. I'm a bit, mate. You know, Kales was here, Will was here, uh, you know, Rick Carey was here, you know, back in February. You know, and having Alan Hyde now twice on here is pretty special. You know, I couldn't have said that how many years. We give a bigger round of applause for the live behaving itself tonight because the comments have been showing all the way through. Yes, we can. And Facebook comments have been top notch tonight. Have not played up like they did on Monday. I think sometimes it doesn't help when I probably put my comments in and then you guys try to put one in and then it freezes it and then breaks it. So I need to stop doing that. But no, you know, it's been great. Um, I do, I do now feel like we're getting somewhere with this page. You know, I've been doing this for 5.5 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and sometimes emotional. Where I've actually got a bit upset on stream. You know, got a bit of a rant sometimes, but you know, it's just how it is. The page is here for you guys. It's not, you know, like I say, this isn't my job. This is my outside of work project slash I get away from, you know, real life just to talk all things BTCC or motorsport. You know, I do online racing Tuesday and Sundays. So, you know, there's a lot I do, you know, and it's all thanks to you guys being top class people. You know, it becomes almost like we're one massive family. Well, we are, 'cause we're all one massive motorsport family. But I can't thank you all enough being here, you know, with your kindness, your comments, your questions. Like I said the other day, killer questions. I know Tracy has a few killer questions probably lined up for the next couple of weeks. But, you know, I really appreciate every one of you. I wouldn't do this any different. sometimes I feel like I have to word things different to some people. I feel like to be heavily connected in, just doing this for fun. I if someone said to me, "Would you ever make money out of it?" Well, you never know what's around the corner. You never know what's here, what's going to be around. You know, um, but as you know, this is ultimately here for as long as I feel. The BTCC is obviously, you know, a huge part of it. We've got a lot of things. No worries, Diffan, mate. I will catch up with you, mate. I'll catch you on Friday, buddy. Thank you yet again for your help, mate. And also, look after yourself, mate. And I'll catch you Friday evening. Thank you for being here in the comments, mate. Much appreciated. Look after yourself. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. But yeah, if you've got up since 5 and then didn't get back till after 11:30, or well until 11:30 last night, then I can imagine you are absolutely knackered. Because I would be. But then again, it just shows how far away you are, doesn't it? But no, in all seriousness, I'm going to wrap up very shortly. But much appreciated to everyone that's been in the comments tonight. Much appreciated to everyone that's come over. It's a massive help. And I tell you what, give yourself a massive pat on the back if you can for actually being here. It's really, 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 you know, Lee, I'm going to read your comment because try not to make me cry. Your vlogs are so down to earth. You don't leave anyone or try not to let anyone change the way I do my vlogs. You have a fantastic family of fans and supporters around you that are always here for you, mate. Try not to make me cry. Jesus. But no, that really means a lot, mate. Thank you so much for that comment. I have got a good connection. I am absolutely over the moon with what's happened tonight and the last couple of months and the last couple of weeks. As I say, it's you guys, it's the community that actually bring it all together. And Darryl, that's a good question, mate. Plans for up and coming live videos. Friday is rating or roasting deliveries of this season, which I'm probably going to get some shit for, excuse the language, but I'm not really bothered about that. And also the draw for the sweepstake. Monday is what got me. I think Monday's subject is actually what got me into wanting to become a motorsport vlogger. So we kind of talked about it on Monday's live video, but I'll go into a bit more depth about that. And then next Friday, which is the 25th, is round one BTCC preview for Donington Park. So yeah, can you believe first round of the season we have a preview show for that? Unfortunately, we won't have a guest for that, but it will be me talking about what to expect for the race weekend at Donington Park. And those who are going, then obviously let us know and share some photos because I would love to see. But and then a week on Monday, we'll be talking about plans for May's live videos. Yeah, Good Friday and Easter Monday, we will have live videos. We are, I was going to say because it's Easter, I wasn't, but you guys deserve it. And I think I wasn't going to actually go live Monday, so 2 days ago, I wasn't going to go live because of tonight. But then I thought, well, no, hang on a minute. I didn't do the live video last Friday, so I did it on Monday. So you've had 3 live videos this week. You've had a treat. But yeah, I'm really hyped now. It's to come home after work, to jump on, talk to you guys. What more do you want on Wednesday night? What more would you want? It's been an absolute pleasure, you guys being here. I am really, really looking forward to what is going to happen in the next couple of live videos. As I say, guests will probably come thick and fast. People probably see this now and think, "Oh, who's this Hoppers Motorsport Vlogs. Let's talk to him. You know, as I say, I'm going to be honest, it ain't easy. You know, it is blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes it is frustrating when things don't go to plan, or you try and get drivers or people on as a guest, and you know they're busy, but then you try and message them, or you have the urge to message, but then you don't because you think, oh, you're busy, you're bothering their busy time. But no, they give up their time because they do. You know, it's like yesterday when I was listening to Toker Live. They actually, if they don't attend the pit lane walkabout during race weekends, the drivers actually get fined for it because they have to be there. You know, it's quite weird. You know, when would you ever hear that? But then again, I suppose because it's a sport and everyone wants to see the drivers, if they don't attend the pit lane walkabout at every meeting or one of the meetings without a valid reason, they get fined for it. That's an interesting fact for you. We may discuss certain things like that. But yeah, as I say, looking forward to Friday where we rate and roast deliveries. There may not be some deliveries I dislike, but you never know. I can't tell you which ones I like and which ones I don't at the moment. So I have to have a look through the pictures again of yesterday. But also, we'll do the sweepstake. If you get a driver and you forgot who you've got, don't worry, I'll have a list of it. But also, I'll remind you who you've got. What else was I going to say? Stickers. I've still got my stickers. Some of my stickers left. I've got a load of Dayglow yellow ones. I may do a competition very soon for that. Because I think you guys deserve a competition. See how long I've been live for now. Near enough 2 hours. Jesus. But yeah. Anything else you want to know quickly? Just put it in the comments. But you know, it's been an absolute honour tonight. It's been really, really great. Looking forward to getting some quick fit ponchos, laughing out loud. Quick fit ponchos there. Mate, if I had some of them as a prize, I'd be like, what the hell? But nah, I'm gonna think what I'm gonna give people is, you know, I'm gonna try and do a massive competition as well as the sweepstake this year. I'm gonna try and think. I can't actually physically get you tickets for BTCC events. I'm sorry, but I don't. You know, I actually um, don't actually approve of trying to, you know, give away tickets. I know Napa and them lot do, but that's because that's them and they can easily do that. I couldn't do it. But you know, it's no disrespect if anyone wants a competition for tickets, but I wouldn't do it because I was worried about if they got lost or someone got conned out of it. You know what I mean? But you know, it's like if you guys want autographs or posters, I'll open up this time next week, or maybe Friday next week, Friday morning. I'll open up a post on the page saying if anyone's going to any BTCC events this year that want any autographs or any posters or want to exchange for another one, then comment in that post, and then obviously you sort it out yourselves via direct message. Don't do it in the comment section, but just do it via direct message, because I will allow you guys to swap and trade autographs, or if you ever want them and I'm them, I can easily get them, then just let me know and we'll sort them out. Or if I've got a way of contacting the drivers to get some, then I'll do it that way as well. Anything else you want to know very quickly, guys? As I say, it's been great. It's been an absolute blast tonight. I can't thank you all enough. I can't thank Alan enough because it's been an absolute pleasure for having him on. You know, who would have thought, eh? Who would have thought straight after work, jumping in after work as well to do this? It's easy. I don't mind if I jump in after work, you know. That's what I do anyway, isn't it? But yes, I'm going to wrap up very shortly. But thank you yet again, guys. Thank you to Alan as well for his time. It's been absolutely fabulous. I can't believe how great tonight has been. God, I look tired. But yes, I'm gonna head off now, guys, because I feel like my voice is gonna go, and I feel like I need to have a wind down and put a few things on this page. But yes, I will see you Friday at 9 p.m. GMT. It is later on Friday because obviously I will have to prepare driver names to put out on a piece of paper ready for the draw. If you don't get your driver that you don't want, I may consider people swapping. But then again, it's a bit unfair if that person wants to keep that driver. But I'm looking forward to being with you guys. It's been great. Got you out of watching the soaps, mate. It's got me out of other things. I'm joking. It's been great. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys in the comments. It's been a pleasure having Alan Hyde yet again on the vlog page. You never know. He may appear for a third time. You never know. But yes, guys, I will see you Friday. Take it easy. Look after yourselves. Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. But until Friday, take care of yourselves. And I'll speak to you on Friday. Have a good rest of your evening and have a good day tomorrow. And I'll see you on Friday. Take it easy. Ta-ra.